So session 4 now. So we talked about permission and the idea that we should take even our voluntary work seriously and seek permission. That's an important matter in just showing your respect to the work that you're doing. Next is a very big subject and very important subject, at least we can introduce it now, is voicing your concerns in an organization. You have a concern, you have your opinion that you'd like to give about something. What are some parameters, some guidelines that you and I have to follow when we give our opinion? What are the ethics of giving our opinion? The first of them, the ayah I want to share with you is from Surah Al-Ma'idah. Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu man yartadda minkum an dinihi. Those of you who have iman, anybody who goes back on their religion, Allah will replace them. فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِ اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ. Allah will bring another nation. يُحِبُّهُمْ وَيُحِبُّونَهُ. He will love them and they will love Him. أَذِلَّةٍ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Their attitude will be, they will be extremely humble to the believers. So before we talk about giving our opinion, we have to understand what it means to be humble to other believers. Dhalil, dhulala in Arabic actually is what you walk all over, like a rug. Like a rug. So we have to let other believers walk all over us. In other words, we have to be extremely humble in our interaction with other believers. أَذِلَّةٍ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. But أَعِزَّةٍ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. Extremely tough with the enemy. With the disbeliever here means the enemy. أَعِزَّةٍ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. Again, understand the context of the surah. Surah Al-Ma'idah. Victory of Islam has just happened. Makkah has just been conquered. We have to be tough with the kuffar now. أَعِزَّةٍ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. That's their attitude. But then Allah Azza wa Jal adds the idea of giving opinion. He says, يُجَاهِدُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ لَا يَخَافُونَ لَوْمَةَ لَائِمٍ. They struggle for the sake of Allah and they don't fear the blame of anyone who casts blame. Please listen carefully. They don't fear the blame of anyone who blames them, the criticism of anyone who criticizes them. They're not afraid of the critic when they voice their opinion. They don't look around and say, what are people going to say if I say this? It's in my conscience. I can't sit on it. I feel like it's wrong what's going on. I should say something, but man, everybody around me is going to think I'm weird, or I'm a troublemaker, or I'm causing problems. So I should just stay quiet. No, you shouldn't just stay quiet. This peer pressure thing, this is against the peer pressure in an organization. Because organizations tend to develop momentum. They start going in a direction and they go full steam ahead. And maybe it's not the best direction. And you in your good conscience realize there's something wrong with this direction. And you don't voice your opinion because everybody's too excited about continuing to go. The train's already left the station, sort of, You should and you have to voice your opinion no matter what other people say. You have to be courageous about voicing your opinion. But you don't have to be a punk about it either. You don't have to make trouble at a meeting and say, I do not fear, la akhafu fillahi lawmata la'imin. What we are doing is hypocrisy. And no. There's respectful ways of saying your opinion. There's a decent way of saying, look, I'm not too comfortable with this. I don't mean to be trouble. I don't want to be offensive. But how do we justify this behavior? How can we do this, and this? This doesn't seem right to me. And so at the very least you voice your concern. The other thing also is not just about something that's happening that's wrong, but you have a suggestion for improvement. You have a suggestion for betterment. You have a strategic suggestion. You should never be afraid of giving those kinds of suggestions. But here's the thing that will save you or destroy you. If you don't remember it, it'll destroy you. And that is giving a sincere suggestion for the sake of Allah is an act of worship. Giving a suggestion is just like giving sadaqah. There's no difference between giving a suggestion, a sincere piece of advice, and sadaqah. Sadaqah is only for Allah. Advice is only for Allah. If you expect returns in dunya from sadaqah, then Allah does not count your sadaqah. If you expect that your opinion should be taken, that they should act on your opinion, and if they don't act on your opinion, you'll get offended, then you did not give that opinion for the sake of Allah, you gave that opinion for the sake of getting it followed. Then you gave that opinion for yourself, for your furthering, not for Allah. Giving your opinion is the act of worship. The ultimate teaching of that is salat itself. In the salat, I forget that dhuhr is 4 rak'at, or I lost my mind somehow, shaitan got to me, I got up for a 5th rak'at. You're standing behind me. What do? You give your opinion, this is wrong. How do you give your opinion? Subhanallah. But I keep standing and make the full 5th rak'ah. What do? This is not Islam. I'm going to just sit down and make my salams now. Or will you follow along? You will follow along because the discipline of the group is more important than you individually being right. Your responsibility was completed the moment you voiced your concern. If you courageously voiced your concern, now the onus, the responsibility for things going wrong is not on you, it's on the leadership. You did your part. You just make dua not just for, Ya Allah, I've given this opinion, accept it as an act of worship to you. And by the way, if we truly have our intentions right, then we should be terribly afraid if our opinion is taken. Not offended when our opinion is not taken. Because if our opinion is taken, then the entire responsibility has fallen on us. It went from the leadership took my opinion. If something goes wrong, I will be asked about it. Because that was my suggestion. So think 100 times before you give a suggestion. Give a sincere suggestion. Ask Allah for guidance when you do make a suggestion. And then don't be offended if it's not taken. It's not the end of the world. It's not like kufr and iman. Like your opinion was iman and everything else is kufr. It's not like that. That your opinion is guidance, everything else is misguidance. It's not like that. It's not the end of the world. So give your opinion, don't be afraid, but don't be hung up on your opinion either. Don't say they don't listen to me. That's actually the quote from Allah of the munafiqun. هَلْ لَنَا مِنَ الْأَمْرِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. Do we have any authority either? They never listen to us. Nobody takes what we say seriously. That's what they said. That's what they complained. Because they were offended that their opinion was not taken at Uhud. They were offended by that. Right? So we shouldn't be that attitude. That's the first important caveat. The second is this long passage. I'll take 2 more minutes, maybe 5 more minutes, right? So I'll introduce the passage from Surah Shura and then inshallah ta'ala leave off. Hopefully I can maybe even finish this in 5 minutes. I doubt it though. فَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَمَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا عِندَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. In Surah Tawbah, Allah says, whatever you've been given is gifts, utilities to enjoy in this life. And whatever Allah has is better for those who truly believe. And they place their complete trust in Allah. The passage begins with tawakkul. الَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ كَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَالْفَوَاحِشِ وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُوا هُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ. Those who stay away from major sins and all forms of shamelessness. If your opinion is going to be worth something, then you have to be worth something before Allah. Before Allah. And we as workers of Islam, because this passage is about Shura, we as workers of Islam, first of all, we have to get away from major sins. We talked in the previous session about balancing individual worship with our volunteer activities. Now we have to talk about at least don't be engrossed in major sins. And the one you should look out for in particular is al-fawahish, all forms of shamelessness. That is the one that'll get you. Because shamelessness is from the kaba'ir, it's from the major sins. But Allah pulled it out and mentioned it separately again. So He said kaba'ir al-ithmi wal-fawahish. Even though al-fawahish tashmil fil kaba'ir, it's part of kaba'ir, but Allah separated it anyway. So all forms of shamelessness. You know what that means, guys, young girls that are sitting here? When you're volunteering at the MSA, watch out for shamelessness. Because you are volunteering for something that's remotely related to Islam, shaitan will destroy you through shamelessness. No, we're just sitting in a meeting. We're just taking Shura. That ain't Shura. That's something else with a sheen and a ta. But it ain't Shura. That's what you think it is. You have to guard yourself extra when you're going to do this work. Because that's the easiest way shaitan can get you. Easiest way he can get you. And he will bombard you with it too. Guys, you're going to grow a beard and it's going to come out all funny. You don't have the full thing yet. It's got like fuzzy things going on left and right. And you would think it's a safeguard against girls on campus. But shaitan will do waswasa to that girl and she'll come up to you and say, by the way, I'm in your bio class, aren't I? And you'll be sitting there like, yeah. I'm also in the MSA, the president. It'll happen. That stuff will happen. Shaitan will mess with you. He will ruin you. And now you're going to the convention for who knows what reason. You're going to the conference for who knows what reason. You're attending the meetings extra early and you're dressed up at every one of them for God knows what reason. It happens. And this happens for boys and girls. And this is where you're kidding yourself if you're thinking you're doing Islamic work. You're kidding yourself. It's a joke. وَالَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ كَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَالْفَوَاحِشِ. And then the next thing, وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُوا هُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ. And whenever they get angry, they calm themselves down. They control themselves. What is the most difficult urge to control for young people? It's their tendency, their attraction to the opposite gender. If you can control that, then the other next thing that's a big problem for you is what? For young people? Tempers. Somebody says something you don't like. Tempers flare immediately. Allah mentions if you can control al-fawahish, then you'll be able to not only control your anger, you'll be able to forgive. And that's a key to successful Islamic work. You have to work with others that will raise your blood pressure. Sorry, that comes with the territory. You're not alone in that. I don't care if you're working at a masjid, you're helping out at a school. Doesn't matter what voluntary work you're doing, you will be around people that will get on your nerves. And I'm telling you, they will crawl under your skin. And it will boil. And you will feel like you want to say something so badly. And when that urge comes, you just recite وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُوا هُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ. Whenever they get mad, they forgive. It's not even whenever they get mad, they calm down. They forgive, they let it go, they cover it up, they move on. They learn to grow a thick skin. People that are going to work for Islam, if you don't have a thick skin, better grow one, because that's what Allah wants. You better be mentally prepared to be offended a lot, and keep chugging along anyway. That's what comes with the territory. It has to be there. You know how many people join an organization with good intention and they're given hugs and congratulations, and 6 months later when they hear something they didn't want to hear or somebody upset them, they quit. And they quit and they say, I'm never going back there again. You say, why won't you go back there again? You don't know what they said to me. You know what that one guy said to me? What he said to you was your test of whether or not you get angry or not. Because Allah's work is more important than your temper, than your pride. If you were doing work there, you go back and you do it. And I'm not saying you let people walk all over you. You don't do that either. You stand up for yourself, but you don't insult anybody. And you overlook their misgivings. And you know, sometimes there are people, and mostly Pakistanis, us, we're good at this. We love to say things that burn. It's just in our culture. We just have to do it. We can't help ourselves. We have to do it with our children. We have to do it with our wife. You know, if she made a good meal, you have to say, "Aaj to bada acha khana banaya hai. Aaj kya bukhar tha?" Today's a good meal. Are you feeling okay? Because usually it's pathetic. You can't just say it's nice. You can't do it. You have to, And you bring that into the meeting. You bring that into the Islamic work too. You just have to say these little things, and these little things, they add up until a person goes crazy. They keep building up. Farat tanur, the kettle overboils. But you, on the receiving end, just learn to grow a thick skin and take it and learn to laugh it off. Learn to laugh it off. Learn to hear obscene, offensive things and just laugh them off and let them go. That's the way you'll be able to continue to do your work. And those people, I tell you, those people are a blessing. Those people that test your patience, they're a blessing. Because they are the way by which Allah teaches you sabr. If they weren't there, you'd never learn sabr. So at the ceremony at the end of the year, you say, I thank those who helped me and I thank those who made me a more patient human being. Right? Because they're a means by which you're elevating. Really. This is also a part of your rizq. The people that are going to be a challenge in your life. Because otherwise sabr is just a theory. What is sabr if it's not tested? What is patience if it's not tested? And sometimes it's tested by those who are close to us, those we have to work with. Okay. Finally, وَالَّذِينَ اسْتَجَابُوا لِرَبِّهِمْ. And those who have responded to their master. Those who responded to the call of Allah. They knew that there's something more in their life that should be done. وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ. However, they didn't forget their original individual responsibilities. They established salat. And of course, finally, وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ. And their decisions are essentially, he doesn't even say وَأَمْرُهُمْ مَبْنِيٌّ عَلَى شُورَى بَيْنَهُم. He says أَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى. Their decisions are consultation among them. He didn't even say their decisions are based on consultation. They just are consultation. All their decisions are consultation. Consultation is not an empty suggestion box which says please put your suggestions here and there's a shredder on the bottom. Shura is not people, brother, if you have a concern please say it in the mic. I think we should have a youth program. Jazakallahu khairan, brother. Next, I think we should have a women's program. Jazakallahu khairan. Jazakallah, jazakallah, jazakallah. Move on. You know, that's not shura, bro. Shura isn't just let people blow their hot air and just say jazakallah and then do whatever you're going to do anyway. That's not shura. Shura is to take sincere on behalf of the one who's giving shura. We talked about that, right? It better be sincere. It's an act of worship. You don't expect it to be taken. On behalf of the ones taking it, it has to be genuine. You're seriously taking it into consideration. You don't have your mind made up before you go to a shura meeting. Then it's not called a shura meeting. If you have your mind made up already, and any opinion that comes, you're gonna knock it out the park. No, brother, this is this way, this is that way. You're just there to defend your opinion then. That's not shura. Shura means you're open to other ideas. You have not yet made up your mind. You haven't yet made up your mind. And you're going to exchange thoughts, and you're open to the idea that maybe what you had in mind isn't the best, and what the other offered maybe completes it, or a combination of the two can be worked out, or something, a third thing came that you didn't even consider. You have to go into shura with that attitude, and that's when shura is shura. That's when it really counts for something. Now, if you do give a suggestion, and it's serious, I'm not talking about strategy like color of the carpet. I'm talking about serious stuff. You know, who should be eligible for sadaqah at the masjid or something big. And you think there's a serious problem. Then you do not discuss it with fellow volunteers. You discuss it with someone above you. You discuss it with the Amir. And you don't discuss it with anybody else. You don't. Because if you do, that's not shura, that's najwa. That's the next session. That's najwa. You discuss it with the Amir. And if the Amir doesn't take it seriously, if there's someone above him, you take it to him. If not, then you bring it up one final time in front of everyone, the Amir and everyone. Look, I've brought this suggestion up. This is the last time I'm bringing it up. I will not bring it up again. Here are my concerns. They haven't been met. And if you really think it's a life and death issue, like this is the issue that will make and break your affiliation to this organization, then just that's your last draw. You say it publicly, this is my concern. I, in good conscience, cannot continue to work in this organization if this is going to be the case. So it's the final time. I promise I will never bring it up again. What was the channel? First you bring it up to the one above, then above that, then in front of everyone, and you're done. Don't email anybody about it. No back and forth, no discussions after the meeting. It is finished. It is dead. And as you're leaving the organization, if unfortunately that's the case, make dua for them as you're leaving. May Allah bless this effort. May Allah Azza wa Jal unite us. May Allah Azza wa Jal make whatever decisions we take full of barakah and forgive all the shortcomings we have. Myself and all of you. I make dua for you, you make dua for me. Leave on a good note. Don't leave on like a wrestling match at most board meetings. Don't do that. Don't walk away angry. These are your brothers. You want to see them in Jannah. You're all here for the same reason. Nobody's getting a paycheck. Everybody's a volunteer. If there's anger in the meeting, it's because shaitan is there. That's your enemy, not each other. Realize that. Don't be fooled by him. Don't be fooled by him. We should know better. Really. وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنْزَغُ بَيْنَكُمْ. I'll take 2 more minutes. Tell my slaves, say the best possible, better thing. Say the better thing. Allah didn't even say the best thing because we're not capable of saying the best thing. He said ahsan, tafdeel, not al-ahsan. Say the better thing. In your head, you could have said something, then you think in your head, maybe there's a better way of saying that. Maybe I should, wait, hold on, just put the brakes on, let me find a less offensive way of voicing that again. And then say it. In your head, before you open your mouth, there should be a multiple choice questionnaire. I'm about to say what he said is wrong. And I could say it this way. That guy's wrong. 2. I don't think I agree with that. Maybe I should go with, I don't think I agree with that. Instead of saying, that guy's wrong. You know? Think through what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. This is يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. And if you don't do that, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنْزَغُ بَيْنَكُمْ. Guaranteed, no doubt about it, shaitan will cause dissent among you. No doubt about it, if you don't watch what you're going to say. You might have something legitimate to say, but you didn't say it in the best possible way, or in a better way than you originally thought of. Rethink. Think about not just what you're going to say, think about how you're going to say it. That's shura. That's a part of healthy shura. Respectful, courteous. And don't just praise people for, just to pander to them. Don't do ingenuine praises. Jazakallahu khairan, you are doing so much for our community, I have a suggestion. No. Don't do that. If it's not genuine, don't do it. Don't just say, let me butter him up first, then I'll tell him how bad he is. It doesn't work. If it's not from the heart, don't say it. If it's not from your heart, you don't mean it, don't say it. It's better you're quiet. It's just better you don't say anything, okay? So, that's the basics of giving one's healthy opinion and considering all opinions. Inshallah ta'ala, how should a leader consider the opinions? We'll talk about that in the qualities of leadership. I basically have 2 sessions left with you. One of them is what destroys Islamic work, and that is najwa. So we're going to have a najwa session next, inshallah ta'ala. And then after that, we'll have our final session, which is the qualities of leadership. At least some qualities, basic, most important qualities of Islamic leadership, as outlined by the Quran. We'll talk about those and conclude our day. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Hakim, wa nafa'ni wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikr al-Hakim.